Hi, everybody. This is Carrie Kennedy from the Institute of Beauty and Wellness. Hope everyone's having a great Friday. I am just coming to you here in Milwaukee. And before we start, we have a great day of education. I wanted to do one thing. Tell me your favorite Aveda product. We're going to pick one person to win an Aveda product, but let me know you're here. By go ahead and posting in the chat section, what's your favorite go-to hair product right now? I would love to hear, especially when we're doing some social distancing. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are having some great hair days, right? So while that's happening, I want to introduce our first speaker today. His name is Rodrick Samuels. He's the Director of Education at the Hair Lab in Detroit Barber School. And Rodrick has been at the Institute before. We're so excited that he is able to join us today. He's been recognized as a renowned leader in cutting-edge educational methods and clipper cutting concepts and techniques, including the current trend of mechanical shear practices. As an expert in the field of barber style education, he raised the bar in personal appearance education. He has been an educator and consultant for publishers and manufacturers, as well as the exciting electric advanced educational powerhouse Hair Lab Detroit. Excuse me. Rodrick has also been named the finalist of two of the most prestigious awards in the beauty industry: International AIPP Award for his men's collection in 2016, and NAHA 2017 for Men's Hairstylist of the Year. Today, he is going to show us an in-depth education around fades, and we're so excited to have him. So everybody give a warm welcome to Rodrick.
It's not frozen, it's me. What's up, people? What's up, everybody? Rodrick Samuels coming to you live right here from Hair Lab Detroit Studios inside of my house. Thank you so much to everybody that's watching right now. Big shout out to Aveda IBW and Aveda Madison for allowing me this opportunity to hang with your peeps right now. Also, everybody going live right now from our Hair Lab Detroit Barber School page, so because I got to educate my students and all of our people as well. So happy Friday, everybody. I know that right now things are a little crazy, things get a little wacky or whatever. So I just want to make sure that for our educators out there, for our students that are out there, that everybody is pumped. We're getting ready. It's Friday. As they say on the movie, we ain't got no jobs right now. So all we can do is focus on education. So I want to make sure that if you need anything from me in the meantime or between time, you can follow me on Instagram at Rodrick Samuels, RODRICK-SAMUELS. All right. Also, big shout out to everybody, all my Aveda people. I've missed you guys this year. Hopefully, wifey and I will be back next year to bless you guys with a little bit of new education and everything. So as you guys can see, I'm home today. I'm not wearing a suit. That doesn't mean that we're not going to get professional education, so we're going to make it happen. We got 1 hour of power. So what I want to do first is I want to do something for the students. All right, students, right now, I know that things are crazy. For those of us that are taking online classes, I wanted to give a big shout out to your instructor. Please show your instructors and school directors some love. You guys have no idea how tough it is on the back end of things to organize everything, to make sure we got everything together, to make sure nobody is going over their hours, to make sure that everybody's in attendance. So please make sure to give a big shout out to your instructors and also your school owners and directors. I got myself some notes because I want to take a few, I want to give you guys a few tips for taking online classes. All right, everybody ready? Is everybody ready? Is it? No, I'm teasing. All right. So number one, make sure that when you're taking online classes, treat them like real classes, okay? If you guys are doing Zoom chats, if you guys are doing Pivot Point Lab, make sure that you treat it like school. I tell my students all the time, there's 3 things that we got to do, all right? And I'm going to share this with you guys out there right now. There's 3 things that you absolutely must do to be successful in our industry, all right? You got to show up. You got to work hard, and you have to listen, all right? So let's do this. Number 1, let's show up. Not just show up. Make sure you're getting up. Make sure you show up mentally. Make sure you show up emotionally. Make sure you are ready for the day. Make sure that whatever you got that's going on, these distractions outside, get that stuff out of here. You need to show up. Show up for your classes. Do your assignments. Bring them to you on time. Make sure that everything that you need to do to be prepared for your online class, you're doing it, all right? Show up. Number 2, you got to work hard. To be the best, you must stand the test for hard work, and only hard work pays off, all right? That's just not in school. That's also building the foundation that you need to get out of school, all right? The way you practice is the way you play. So make sure that when you play hard. You go hard at it, whether it be theory, whether it be practical, working on your mannequins, whatever the case may be. Make sure that you're doing everything you possibly can to give yourself the opportunity. All right. Opportunities don't go away. They go to somebody else. So while you guys have the opportunity to get hours, to learn online, to do all those things, make sure that you're handling your business. All right. So you got to show up. You got to work hard. And lastly, you got to listen. 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen twice as much as you speak. All right. Not only just listen to what your instructors and your school directors are saying, but you got to listen to your heart. Listen to your mind, okay? Listen to the things that are telling you to keep moving forward. Despite what's going on outside of our houses, we have to keep moving forward. That's super, super important to your success, and that's super, super important to you after you get out of school, all right? Remember this, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. If you show your instructors, your school leaders that you care about them, that you appreciate this opportunity of a lifetime, in the lifetime of this opportunity, listen, that's going to make all the difference in the world for you being successful coming out of the industry, all right? So make sure that you treat this like a real course. Make sure that the second tip I want to give you guys for online education is to hold yourself accountable. There's a certain level of accountability that we have to have, not for everybody else around us, but for ourselves, to make sure that we're getting our work done, to make sure that we're showing up, we're logging in on time, to make sure that we get everything that we need to get done, that we're doing it, and we're doing it in its entirety. All right. A lot of times, and I can say this for myself, I see a lot of people that are going through their online programs and they're just clicking, click, 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 done. Make sure that you do the entire lesson. Listen, it makes it so much easier for your instructors when they're going over a lesson to make sure that everybody's done what they need to do, so that the lesson goes smoothly and everybody can participate and it can be fun. This is supposed to be fun, guys. Yay. So make sure you're doing those things. All right. And my last tip for online training is practice. All right. You got to practice, guys. When you take online classes, the things that you see me do today, I want you to grab your mannequin as soon as you get off this video and practice, okay? Like I said before, to be the best, you must stand the test for hard work, and only hard work pays off. You have to practice, all right? So I hope that everybody's hearts and minds are clear. We're going to get down to our demo, all right? So here we are. Look at that. Yeah, I'm telling you. Quarantine style. Let me put my camera down a little bit so everybody can see, and everybody that's watching live, this is quarantine guy. All right, now when we come back, when you guys start to service clients again, when you get back in school, a lot of people are going to come out looking just like this. Are y'all ready for the big reveal? Count it down with me. 1 and 2 and 3. Pow! All right. Now, as you can see what's going on right here, this is somebody who tried to cut their hair at home. All right. You see half baldy right on the side right here, looking crazy. All right. And the other half, it was like, oh, I don't want to mess with that because, I done messed up one side. All right. So today, I'm going to show you guys a little tip and a trick, or some tips and tricks on how to actually make sure that your clients are looking their best after these quarantine haircuts. All right. So First thing we're going to do, I'm going to make sure that I got my man together. All right. Let's see. There it is. Perfect. All right. I'm going to put my camera down here so you guys can see a little bit better. So as you can see, on this particular side, we got to cut down. This particular side, we got half afro. So what we got to do is, this is where we actually dig in and we kind of build in our creative juices. All right. So one thing I'm going to do, number one, I'm going to get my fan pick. All right. Look at that. Ooh. All right. Power to the people. Here we go. So I'm going to get my fan pick and I'm going to pick this texture out. Always remember, especially with afro textured hair that's really, really long like this, you want to make sure that you have a tool, an implement like a fan pick, so you can go all the way through, build the texture out to the longest length that it can, and it helps to break up the texture of the hair so you can make sure that it's at its longest points. Okay? So I'm just going to take a little bit of time, pick this thing out, and listen, he got a gang of hair. All right, this is Cameron. One of my favorite mannequins, mannequin makers, is Pivot Point, and they have some great mannequins, especially for like your afro textured mannequins. For those of us who don't get a lot of practice with afro textured hair, this particular mannequin is really, really cool. Okay, we're going to pick them all the way out. All right, perfect. Now, we can see that on this side, he's kind of blended down already. All right, so we're going to accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative. That's the cool thing about being in this industry, because we actually get to get blank canvases like this and make whatever we want to out of it. Of course, you got to make sure you do what the client wants, but this is a time for us to be creative. This is a time for us to test our skills. This is a time for us to show and prove. Okay, a lot of times when you're young in the industry and you're trying to build your clientele, matter of fact, my students and I spoke about this earlier today, you got to go out there and let people know what you can do. You want to let people know exactly what you're about. Practice, show up, work hard, listen. All those things are going to pay off. I promise you. Trust the process. All right. So first things first, we got to make sure, especially with the pandemic and everything going on, that we sanitize our tools. All right, we got to sanitize our tools. How often should we sanitize our tools? Let me think. Say it with me. Every cut, every client, all the time. All right, say it one more time with me. Every cut, every client, all the time. All right, we want to make sure that we sanitize our tools properly first. So what we're going to do here, we're going to take our sanitation spray, all right, and we're going to spray it right across the blade. We're going to wipe off the excess. All right. Now, you want to do this with every single tool that you use, every cut, every client, all the time. All right. Second thing we want to do, we want to make sure that we properly oil our tools. How often should we oil our tools? How often should we oil our tools? Every cut, every client, all the time. All right. So I'm going to bring this in here real close. And what we're going to do is we're going to put one dot of oil right in the center. All right. Then we're going to turn our clipper on the side, and we're going to put one dot right here between the cutting blade and the still blade. All right. Now we're going to cut them on and cut them off. We're going to cut them on and cut them off, because that way the oil actually circulates through the blades properly, nice and evenly. Now, the other thing with oiling your blade, you want to make sure you got to wipe the excess off, okay? Wipe it off. You do not want your client walking out your chair looking like they got a jerry curl. It's 2020, people. Let's get rid of the jerry curl. It is not a thing anymore. All right. So first things first, we got our tools ready. I'm going to show you guys a couple of variations. The first thing I want to make sure that we do is I want to show you guys a method that I like to teach my students, and this is on detachable blade cutting. All right. Detachable blade cutting is super quick. It's fast, it's effective, and the difference is that with metal blades, such as these, they don't bend like the plastic blades, all right? So if you notice, look at these teeth. The teeth bend, all right? Look at these teeth. They don't bend, all right? So you want to make sure that every time that you make a pass, every time that you go through a section of hair, you're going to get even hair feed into the cutting blade right here, which is going to give you a more detailed cut every single time, all right? So I'm also going to show you guys how to properly use your adjustable blade clippers. All right. So with your adjustable blade clippers, you can actually use a guard just like this, and you make sure that you bring it here. Listen to this. Shh. Everybody heard that click? It's like a seat belt. You want to make sure that anytime that you're using guards on adjustable blade clippers, you hear that click, okay? This is going to be insurance for your haircut. This is going to be insurance so you don't get an oh Lord haircut, all right? Anybody ever heard of an oh Lord haircut? You ever been cutting somebody's hair like this and the blade slips off and the only thing you can say is, oh Lord, all right? We want to make sure that we're not doing that, all right? So listen for the click. Safety, all right? All right, perfect. So, one thing I want to tell you guys about, because we only have an hour of power, is how to determine exactly where we want to start our fade and what we need to do. I'm a firm believer in that you have to envision what you want your hair to look like before you actually start to do it. So, what I'm thinking is we're going to start to cut this hair in panels. All right, let me grab my comb real quick. All right, so one of the methods that I use, and I actually learned this from one of my students, shout out to Stevie the barber, all right, is using your fingers. So if I place my fingers across the side of his head, right where his ear is, this gives me a little bit of direction as to where I need to start. If I want to go with a low fade, I'll start with this finger. A mid fade, it'll be 2 fingers. A high fade, 3 fingers. Pretty cool, huh? All right. So what I want to do is today, because he ultimately gave himself the big chop, what I want to do is I want to keep this hair because we want to accentuate the positive, but we want to eliminate the negative, which is all this other hair that he still has on his head. So what we're going to do is, I think that this will also be very, very pleasing to a lot of people. We're going to cut a little bit of this texture off. All right. So when I'm using blade fading, I like to use my blades in a very numerical order. So much like anything, what we're going to do is when we fade this up, we're going to build graduation. Graduation meaning we're going to start off with a shorter length here, and every time that we go up a section or a zone, we're going to change the blade, which is going to make the hair a little bit longer for each section that we go through. All right, so we have a lot of hair, so I want to make sure that I pick this out really, really good. And at this point, we need to make sure that we're matching this side with this side. So this side right here, it looks like it's probably about at a 2 or so. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to use my adjustable blade clippers to cut this down to a 2. So I got my tools over here on the side. And what I'm going to do is I got my number 2 guard. I want to cut those on. Always make sure that you keep a comb or a pick or something like that in your hands, okay? Now, when we're clipper cutting, I want to make sure that we understand when you hold your clipper in your hands, you need to have 4 fingers across the back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what you want to do to make sure that the blade pivots properly is between your middle finger and also your ring finger. Your thumb wants to be right in the center. See that? Look at that. Almost a little workout video, right? Okay, so what we will also want to do is make sure that this blade right here, we stay on the toe and not the heel. We want to place this blade right here flat against our client's head, and we're going to make a C cutting motion, all right? A C cutting motion. Here we go. Make sure that everything's picked out real, real nice. Oh man, is that not satisfying? Look at that. We're getting some of this texture off. All right. Now, I want us to also learn when we need to pivot or when we need to switch directions with something. As I actually went through, his hair is a lot thicker than I thought. So actually, as I went through, what we're going to do, instead of using a guard to try to go through all this hair, we're going to freehand and get some of this weight off. All right. So with your adjustable blade clipper right here in the closed position. Okay. So with this lever on the side, if you open the blade up, notice you can actually see a little bit of the blade here. All right, can everybody see that? When I close the blade, it's going to make sure it's going to give me the closest possible cut that I can actually get. All right, so again, here I'm going to close my blade up, and guess what I'm going to do? I'm just going to freehand shape some of this off. All right, making sure that I hold my clipper very, very tightly so I can take off the bulk of this hair. Isn't that satisfying? Look at, nice. Take off the bulk, cut through the hair, get through everything, get through it. All right. Now, once I remove the bulk, this gives me a very, very nice way to now start my panels and start my sections. All right. Going back through, making some light work of it. All right. So, whew, that's a lot of hair on the floor. All right. So now, if you can see, we took off a lot of the bulk on this side and a lot of the bulk on this side. Now this kind of gives us a real nice, clean canvas to work on. All right. So when we're talking about detachable blade cutting, the first blade I'm going to start off with is an OA blade. All right. For some of us out there that may not be very familiar with detachable blade cutting, again, it's one of those things. It doesn't matter what the texture is. It doesn't matter what the ethnic background of your client is. It's going to give you a really nice, detailed fade every single time. All right. So the first blade I'm going to start off with is an OA blade. This OA blade cuts the hair at 1.2 millimeters. Not a big thing to learn, but just know that this is an OA. All right. When you're utilizing detachable blade clippers, it's very important to cut the clippers on first. Then you attach the blade, and then you engage. All right. Now, our client here has dark hair, so I want to use a light colored comb. Light comb, dark hair. All right. Light hair, dark comb. Now, if you notice, the reason I want to make sure that I use a light comb and not a dark comb is because you can't really see the hair as it goes through this comb. But if I use this particular one, I can see it. So I'm right-handed. I always like to start my haircuts left temple. All right. Plan your work and work your plan. Now, you guys will notice that if you see it, you watch a lot of YouTube videos or some of the Instagram videos, a lot of guys like to cut one entire section of the hair perfectly, line it and edge it perfectly, and then do the other side. Well, if you know anything about our industry, time is money. And for the next couple of weeks while we're in quarantine, I really want you to think about something. Think about your time as a currency. Think about your time really being money. How are you spending that time? Are you getting a return on your investment, or are you just wasting your time? Just a little something to think about. All right. So again, OA blade, check that out. Woo-hoo. All right. And we're going to start here, right on the left temple, making sure that I keep my blade nice and flat up against his head. And we're going to make that C cutting motion. Comb down. I'm going to use the tip of my blade here and angle right around the ear. Unfortunately, his ear doesn't move, but we're going to angle right around the ear and then continue our panel. All right, now, as I made my first panel, I actually finally made a decision as to what particular haircut I think is going to be fitting for this particular client. Okay, I'm going to do what we call a fro-hog. You have a mohawk, you have a faux hawk, and this, because it's Afro textured hair, shout out to Ivan Zoot, because it's Afro textured hair, this has now become a fro hog. Get it? Afro, fro. All right, maybe another time. It's fine. All right, so OA blade, our first panel here, going around the ear and back down the center. Now, when I go back down the center, I want you guys to see this. Notice I'm not taking off any length right here. I want to keep this length right here all the way through. All right. Now, the cool thing about using a detachable blade clipper is that guess what? You don't have to turn it off. You literally take your thumb, pull the blade apart, go get your next one. My next blade. All right. Pop it on, and I'm ready to go again. All right. So panel number one was an OA blade. Panel number two is a number one blade. Now, every time that I use or choose a blade, it gives me a completely different length. And I'm just working my panel, all right? Making sure that I keep the blade nice and flat. Notice how I'm using the corners of the blade to notch the hair. Make sure I get it as clean as possible right around that area. All right, comb it down. Let's see what this looks like. And then I'm going to move on to my next blade. So we started off with an OA. Then we move to a number one. My next blade will be a 1A blade. Again, super, super fast, super quick. Pop it on, pop it off. And this is panel number three. So every time that I actually change my blade, I go to a different panel. Keep my blade nice and flat. Again, making sure I want to keep this hawk in place. So I'm making sure that I don't compromise the integrity of this hawk. Okay. Now, if this were not an instructional video so I can show you guys everything, I would literally cut temple to temple. This side, then this side for the first panel. Then the next panel, panel number two, this side and this side. For the next panel, panel number three, this side and this side. Always making sure that I'm working from temple to temple. Time, again, in our industry is money. Treat your time like currency. How are you spending your time? All right. So panel number one, OA blade. Panel number two, number one blade. Panel number three, 1A blade. Now panel number four, 1.5. All right, again, on and off. Now, as we work our way up to the parietal ridge, you'll notice that I'm rocking out just a little bit more. What I don't want to happen is for this blend to go all the way up into the top section of our hair, because when you reach that point, it's hard to really, really get a weight line out. All right, comb through that. All right, perfect. Now, the last blade I'm going to use is number two blade. Now, when I'm working my way up to this parietal ridge, I'm really going to make sure that I go directly up. All right. One of the things about men's hair cutting, and I want you guys to remember this, is men's haircuts are very square and rectangular. All right. They're very square and rectangular. So I'm going to use my number two blade here. And notice as I'm rocking up, I'm building that square shape. Building that shape out. and you can see the mohawk coming in place. All right. So it's a big difference from this side to this side. We're going to keep working on our fade here. All right. Now, the other technique that I want to show you guys, especially when you're using it to blend, is clipper over comb. All right. So you have your comb, you have your clipper. There's a big misconception in our industry that you can't use clipper over comb on Afro textured hair. Guess what, guys? Hair is hair. Hair is hair. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch our blade out because I want to get something that's going to be a little bit closer. All right. I'm going to go back to our old A blade, do our clipper over comb. Now, think about when you're cutting clipper over comb, think about a train, choo, choo, and its tracks. Choo, choo. Train, tracks. Train, tracks. All right. You want to make sure that the toe of this blade lays flat against that comb and rock it out. Okay. So now that we're getting up to the parietal ridge, you come to this side so you guys can see. All right. I want to use clipper over comb. So I want to make sure that I'm holding my comb correctly. All right. These two fingers right here, I'm going to actually use to help to pivot my comb. All right. When I come in to the hair, I'm going to wait for the hair to hit the spine of the comb. Then I'm going to rock that hair out. Okay. I'm still creating graduation. Now, once I get it to the desired length that I want, I'm going to bring it in, spine of the comb flat against the head. I'm going to rock it out, and then I'm going to cut. Okay. I'm going to bring it in, rock it out, cut. Bring it in, rock it out, cut. Now, when I bring it in, rock it out, and cut, every time that I go through, I'm looking for my guide. Okay, bring it in, rock it out. See where I lost my guide? Now I can cut. See where I lost my guide? Cut. All right. Much like if you're cutting longer lengths of hair, every haircut starts off with a guide, and then that guide travels. You start off with a guide, and then you build that graduation and shape. Okay. So again, here, bring it all the way up, find my guide. My guide is gone now. So now I bring my comb against it. All right. So dust my man off real quick. Okay. Now I went back through. I showed you guys exactly what we use for blade cutting. All right. Now what I want to go back through and do is I want to do some finessing. All right. Remember, your heavy duty cutting, your big time heavy duty cutting, you want to make sure that you use your detachable blade clippers. For your blending of panels, to get weight lines out, things like that, that's when you go to your detachable blade clippers, because you have this lever that you can go up or down to change the length at any time. All right. So what I want to do here, all right, I want to use the side of my blade as if it were a shear, okay? There is such thing as shear style cutting. But what we have to do is we have to make sure to treat our blade just like it were a shear. So with a traditional shear, if you wanted to point cut something, and I got my shears handy right here. If you wanted to point cut something, you would actually bring it in here. And what that does is it debulks. It takes the weight out of the hair, okay? So that the hair will blend a lot easier. And basically all I'm doing is breaking up the texture, okay, and combing everything down. You can actually do the same exact thing with your mechanical shears. I'm going to use just the tip of the blade as if it were a shear, hold it on the side, and I'm going to make little small cuts. And basically what that does is it helps to break up the texture. It helps to get those weight lines out. Okay? Use the tip of the blade just to break up that texture and help the hair to blend. All right, so So far, we went over adjustable blade clippers. We went over detachable blade clippers. We went over clipper over comb. We went over making sure that we got 4 fingers across the back of our tools at all times. We went over making a seed cutting motion. All right. Now, let's show you guys this in real motion. Okay. So if I were in a shop environment, this is what this would look like. Again, from this side, I'm going to start off with my OA blade. Okay. Rock it right on through that. Get that excess hair out. Move some of that bulk out the way. Move the hair out the way so I can see exactly what I got going on and what I'm doing. Keep my blade flat all along the hairline. And this will be panel number 1. Now, when you cut in panels, what it really does is it helps to keep all your work in line. It helps to keep all of your thoughts in line. Sometimes, and we know this for those of us that are out there that are seasoned cutters, a lot of our students, you do this all the time, you overthink your work. You overthink it. I'm gonna start over here and then I'm gonna move to this side, but this other side don't look good. So now I'm gonna just go ahead and line it up. Listen, plan your work and work your plan. It's gonna work out. It's gonna be fine, I promise. Okay? Panel number 1. All right. Panel number 1, OA blade. Pop on, pop off. Panel number 2, number 1 blade. Now, notice my clipper has not stopped working. It's still working. If you have a client in your chair and they need to be in and out, this is going to help you. Okay. Now, for those of us who plan to open up our own shops and salons, all right, there's going to be competition. There's going to be a lot of chain places that are going to be teaching their staff how to utilize adjustable blade clippers and detachable blade clippers. They're going to be worrying about speed. They're not going to be really giving a lot of detail to the haircut. What I want to challenge you guys to do is to utilize your blades for speed, but also utilize your adjustable blade clippers to give it that nice touch and that nice detail that every haircut needs. All right. Panel number 2, number 1 blade. All right. Pop on, pop off. Can anybody tell me what's my next blade? Anybody? Anybody? Yes, correct. It's your 1A. Somebody out there listening. All right. 1A blade on and rocking. Making my seed cutting motion. Okay. Now, it's really awesome for you guys to learn this stuff like this while you're in school. These are things that I didn't even learn until I was well into my professional career. Okay. Now, 1A. Now, guess what? 1.5. Let's keep going. On, engage, cut. Keeping that blade nice and flat. Notice everything is in the wrist. Look at the flick of the wrist. All right. Looking at wrist. Making sure that the toes hit, toe, heel, toe, heel. All right. Let me show this to you again. Get a better camera angle. Toe, toe, heel, toe, heel. All right. So panel number 1 done, panel number 2 done, panel number 3 done. Now we're going to work on our last panel with our number 2 blade. Pop it on. Bringing everything square. All right, making light work of this. Notice how fast you can actually get through with the haircut. All right, now if you use this particular technique, your haircuts won't take long at all. Now, I switched it up on you guys because remember we talked about point cutting and helping these panels to blend in. I'm going to use my number 2 blade just with the corner of the blade right here, and I'm going to notch. Now, if you look real closely right here, you can see the texture of his hair is growing down this way. All right, I'm going to take just the tip of my blade here, lay it on the side, and work against the natural direction of the hair. All right. Everything against the natural direction of the hair. Now, if I wanted to, I could come back through, use a little clipper over comb this way, always make sure to hold it on an angle, and just let me get some of that bulk out. All right, bring it here, angle, guide, train across the track, cut in, spine of the comb flat, bring it out. Everybody saw my guide just now? Gone. Okay, all right, so now, whew, we got our guides in. We went through our fade. All right. Now, this is one of the things that a lot of students struggle with that I really want to kind of bring some light on to, and this is freehand shaping. Okay. So again, with my fan pick, I want to pick everything out real nice. See what the texture looks like as I pick it out. Right. And you can see real nice against that background. But we're working on something. Please make sure that if your fan pick has metal prongs on it, don't be stabbing your client, okay? I promise you, he will not respond like Cameron here, all right? All right, so we can see we got our blend in, we got our sides in, we're bringing everything up. So what I want to do now is, I'm not going to use a guard. What I'm going to do is I'm going to freehand shape the top of his hair to give it some structure. Okay. Everybody still with me? Okay, just checking. Got to make sure. Show up, work hard, and listen. That's what it's all about, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use an OAFD blade. So basically what this is, it's like a trimmer blade. All right, but it's super sharp. It's almost like a fade blade that you would normally see like on your Andis Envy fades or things like that. Okay, I'm going to pop this blade on now. What I need, let me just give you guys just a real little quick tip. Anytime that you're doing freehand shaping, I want to make sure that we got a couple things in mind. We got to make sure we're clear on a couple things. Number one, can everybody see this? Look at how steady my hand is. Look at how steady my hand is, even when I'm talking. You've got to make sure your hands are super steady all the time, all right? Because one false move, that could cause two things, all right? You freehand shaping an afro, somebody done took 8 or 9 months to grow their hair out. You mess that fro up, it can cause two things. Number one, a misunderstanding. People are not going to understand how you mess that fro up. Number two, it could be some furniture movement, meaning that your client might get out the chair and try to throw it. I don't know, but we're going to not do that because we're going to keep our hands real nice and steady all the way through. We're going to make sure that when we have our hands steady, we got 4 fingers across the back. Okay, we're going to make sure we got 4 fingers across the back, 1 in the center. Can everybody see that? Look at that. That's balance. Balance. All right. Now, I'm going to show you guys from a side angle here. Okay, let me bring my camera down just a little bit so you guys can see. All right. Now, we see we got this huge amount of hair. Pick it out one more time just for good measure. Okay. So what we're going to do is We're going to take our blade. We're going to make sure that we keep our blade right here nice and neat on the toe. All right. Now, what we're going to do is, everybody ready? Watch out. Be careful. Be careful. We're going to be right on the toe of this blade, and then we're going to make it square. Steady hands. Nice and steady hands. Look at that hair. Look at that hair go. Bye. One more time. Bye. One more time. Bye. All right. Now, if you notice, just by us freehand shaping that, okay, we took a lot of that bulk out. Okay. Now, check that out. Check this out. Look at that. Look at how nice and shapely we made that side. Look at that. All right. Now, notice, now I'm getting a little bit more detailed. I'm holding my blades with two hands. I want it to be nice and steady. Normally when I cut hair at shows and stuff like that, I wear a suit. And people always say, man, how is it that you don't get hair on your suit? Because when I'm cutting, I don't dump the hair back on me. I take the hair and I dump it to the side. Yeah. Dump it to the side. Yeah. You don't want to get all that hair on you, go home itching and scratching like you got problems. Okay? Freehand shaping. Look at that, y'all. Woo! That shape, baby. And you know what? I'm excited. I'm excited because this client came in looking like who lost, I found. But now look at that. Woo! I gotta walk away from it for a second. Now, guess what? We gotta do the same thing with this side, right? I mean, man. We having a good time, y'all. Listen, it's Friday. Fade them up Friday. That's what we doing, all right? Now, guess what? Again, we're gonna shape this side. Two hands, control it, and out. Control and out. Everybody that's online with me, y'all know what I'm about to say, right? Bye. 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 Bye bye. Gone. Good night. Irene. See you tomorrow. Peace. Goodbye. Ooh, we're building that shape up. Look at that, guys. Remember, men's haircuts, very square, very rectangular. I'm actually using the blade to give me nice shape as I build this thing out. This is our fro-hog. Now, when I worked behind the chair full time before we started the school, all of my haircuts started off at 50 bucks. 50 will get you in, my friend. Okay? Now, one of the things that come along with that is what I said earlier. You got to show up, you got to work hard, and you got to listen. You want to build your business? Get educated. Like I said, education in our industry is not an option. It is a must. Now, I'm going to reverse my blade here and shape. If you guys can notice, can you see that blade? See how that blade is shaped? See how that blade is shaped? Every time that I go through, I'm making sure that this part stays flat. This is what's going to give me that nice structure that I need for my cut. Okay? Get the rest of this hair out of the way. Woo! Everybody tomorrow, when they're cutting hair on their mannequin, they're gonna be like, I'm cutting hair, bye, bye. And when you see it, and you know what, my students know when I get super excited about a haircut, you hear me, whoo, man, somebody give me a church fan. It's getting hot in here. You gotta love it. All right. Okay, so I got about 5 minutes left in this. And what the last thing we're going to do is we're going to actually shape our fro from the top, all right? Now, remember when I said you had to have really, really steady hands? And for those of us out there that are and asking questions, I will get to you just in a second for our Q&A session, okay? So we got our shape in. See? The little something on this side. Hold on. See if I get it. Y'all see it? Did y'all see it? Bye. Woo. Man, look at it. It's so powered up. Yes, it is there. Okay. All right. Let me get back under control. Hold on. All right. Let me get back under control. All right. Now, here's the final piece. All right. Now, remember, nice and flat. See the blade? Nice and flat. Let's turn this puppy on. All right. Now, I'm going to create my guide. Guess what, guys? We're going back to hair cutting 101. You have to create a guide. Nice and flat. Should I do it from the? I should do it from the side, right? Let's do it from the side. Okay, here we go. Now, see how the density right here is very, very light. Now, when I take the rest of this dead hair off, you guys are going to see a dip. Start in the center. Remember, where your guide starts. Guide starts in the center. Let me get these dead hairs off. Let me get these dead hairs off. Now, keeping my blade super flat. Super flat. Oh, man. Now, see how I'm cutting in small panels? I always say, whether I'm teaching a class anywhere across the world, how do you eat an elephant? Now, don't be smart butts out there talking about with mayonnaise and tomatoes and stuff. How do you eat an elephant? Piece by piece. Now, look at that shape right there. Look at how we created that shape just with a few passes. Okay? How do you eat an elephant? Piece by piece. Now, I worked on this first section first. Always notice also when I'm using my blades, guess where they're facing? Mama, me. I don't ever want my blade to face my client because what if I sneeze? Achoo. Guess what? Boop, boop. Stay at home haircut. That's what it is. All right? Again, we're going to shape here. Bring that shape in nicely. We're going to bring that shape in real, real nice. Look how we're shaping that up, y'all. Woo! Man, we're talking about the keys to the bakery right here. These haircuts, understanding techniques, understanding head shapes, which my students and I, we went over today, the shapes of hair, all these things are going to make you a more well-rounded barber stylist. Now, we turn it back right here. Look at that. Okay? Now, this was my guide. Now, I need to match it up. So wherever I started my guide at, look at my clipper. Can you guys see that in the camera? Look at that. I'm going to start where my guide is. Bring that down. Woo! Bring that down. Woo! Cut the corners off. Woo! Cut the corners off. All right? Smoothing it out. Checking out the fellow with the high top fade. There used to be an old Salt and Pepper song. If y'all looking for a good playlist, check out that old school Salt and Pepper, man. I'm telling my age now. I know. I'm telling. All right. Let's see. We got about 1 more minute to go. And I wish I had more time with you guys. I would definitely love to go over edging and lining. And what I'll do for everybody here, make sure that, but check that out, y'all. What y'all think, man? I mean, we learned a lot today. Look at that shape. I still got to get that little back piece. So I'm going to get this back piece, and then we're going to field some questions, okay? How do you eat an elephant, people? Piece by piece, little bit at a time. I just want to take the rest of this off, give it a nice little shape. Yeah, let's hawk it out. Walk it out and hawk it out. Walk it out and hawk it out. All right. Created a nice little shape in there. Got everything together. All right. Back it. All right. Woo! Man, look at that, guys. Look at us today. We only had an hour. All right. So I'm going to put my man right here. Get it a little bit right here. All right. Okay. So Get a little bit more detail on this side, but it's all good. So, all right. So today we learned a few things.